The contract paperwork you will encounter during the course of a real estate transaction can be confusing and sometimes overwhelming. Let's take a quick high-level view of some of the pieces you will likely see. So first, let's make sure we are clear on this. As real estate professionals, we are only authorized to use state-approved forms or special addenda. As licensed real estate professionals, we are actually engaging in what is considered a limited form of the practice of law. And that limitation is centered around the use of these approved and special forms. We are never offering legal advice. Now, let's start with the agency contracts. Merriam-Webster defines an agent as one who is authorized to act for or in the place of another. The agency contracts and our licensure give us, as real estate agents, that authorization. They are essentially service agreements. More than likely, there are one of two types that we will be using. Suppose you want us to act on your behalf and in your best interest as a buyer agent. In that case, we have the WB-36, which is more commonly known as a buyer agency and tenant representation agreement. Or if you wish for us to list your home for sale, we have the WB-1 residential listing contract exclusive right to sell. Both of these forms allow us to use our skill to represent and look out for you throughout the transaction. The listing contract also permits us to advertise your home. Now, of course, there is more to it, but we can cover that when one of us sits down with you in person. An additional type of paperwork you will encounter is addenda. These are additions to contracts or other paperwork. They are an instrument for adding additional terms or information above and beyond what is stated in the primary agreements. The next category of paperwork that we have is disclosures, such as the real estate condition report. This provides a seller a framework to disclose issues to other parties. A residential seller will likely be required to fill this out. It is a simple list of yes, no, or not applicable questions that you answer about known defects within your home. Emphasis on known. You must fill this out to the best of your ability, and there are blank lines where you can describe why you answered yes to specific questions. Here's an interesting side note. We may not tell you how to answer the questions. The best we can do is offer very general guidance. If an issue is properly disclosed on the condition report, in theory, a buyer will have known about that issue prior to writing an offer. In the offer to purchase, you acknowledge the receipt of the condition report, and you are also required to sign the report because of this. The offer to purchase. There are different forms for single-family, condos, and vacant land. But at the end of the day, no matter which one you use, the offer to purchase will be the most crucial document of your real estate transaction. The terms within these contracts represent what the parties actually agree to, not what was advertised, not what was mentioned in passing on the phone. Only what is written down on the signed and executed offer to purchase is what drives the transaction. Like the buyer agency and listing contracts, the offer to purchase can have addenda, which again will add terms to the primary contract. During the offer process, you may also need to use counteroffers and multiple counter proposals. These are similar, yet very different forms and are used under different circumstances. Counteroffers can be used in a pretty straightforward manner, meaning the receiving party for the original offer does not like all the terms presented to them, so they use the counteroffer form to adjust the terms to their liking. They then will deliver it to the other side. Once the counteroffer is delivered to the other party, that's it. You cannot go back and sign the original offer because issuing the counteroffer removes that possibility. The other way a counteroffer can be used is if a buyer finds themselves in competition and they want to goose up some of the terms, they can actually counter their own offer and deliver it to the seller. Counteroffers are binding upon all parties signing them and being delivered properly. This is different from a multiple counter proposal. These are interesting forms because if you are negotiating between multiple parties, the multiple counter proposal allows you to let all parties know what terms would be acceptable and to see if they would work for everyone. Since you can only accept one primary offer at a time, the multiple counter proposal requires one extra step where the document is signed again by the initiating party and then delivered to only one party to form a binding contract. The next piece of paperwork you will encounter is an amendment. Amendments are used where a meeting of the minds is required to make adjustments to the terms of your contract. They require all parties to agree and sign. These are most commonly used to resolve negotiations over contingencies, but they can also be used to extend terms, change closing dates, and really anything the parties agree to. It's hard to define the exact difference between an addendum and an amendment without going down a rabbit hole. Still, for the sake of this discussion, addenda are a part of the original agreement, and amendments add to or adjust the contract later in the process. The last form we will cover is the notice. Unlike an amendment, where all parties must agree, notices are used when only one party needs to make a decision and communicate to the other side. Some examples are when satisfying contingencies or when objecting to a list of discovered defects during a buyer's due diligence period. Delivering a notice can sometimes have significant consequences, so make sure to have a detailed discussion with your agent ahead of time. So there you have it. Those are some of the major contract elements you will be encountering through a common real estate transaction. There is, of course, more paperwork like your title commitment, your deed, easements, and many others. However, we will cover that at a different time. Thanks for watching.